again to another video brought to you by Girls in Gift Carpinteria. For today's video, we are going to dive in a little bit deep into why we have different phases of the moon and how those are represented. So every month, the moon goes through a different phase in which sometimes we see a big full moon and then sometimes we don't see a moon at all. And so through our project, which is edible by the way, we are going to demonstrate what the cycle looks like every month and why. Why do we not see a moon sometimes? Why do we actually see one? And how is it even lit up? Does it have its own light? I don't know, but stay tuned and I'll show you. So for today's materials, I am doing my edible project out of Oreo cookies. Now, if you do not have Oreo cookies or that brand, that's okay. You can use whatever type of cookie you have. My cookies do have stuffing inside of them, which we will need to demonstrate the phases. But if yours do not, if it's crackers, then you can add some peanut butter, some jelly, butter, whatever kind of spread you want onto them to kind of demonstrate how the moon looks like at that phase. Or you can also use a little circle piece of bread that you cut out. That might just require a little bit more prep work. Or if you just want to draw it and not make it edible, that's up to you as well, because I'm going to draw it first on a paper plate. So that's one of the ingredients or materials that we're going to need today, is a paper plate. If you're spreading your own, butter, whatever it is that you're doing onto a cracker, cookie, or a piece of bread or tortilla, then you probably need a butter knife. Remember to ask for permission when you are using this. Then some markers or color pencils or whatever it is you have. I'm just going to decorate my plate a little bit before I add my cookies on there. And then one thing that I found useful is that I like to make circles on my plate just to kind of set the cycle first and then add my Oreo cookies afterwards. So I found this lid. This is a hairspray bottle lid that I'm going to trace. This about the size of an Oreo cookie. I'll actually show you. So it kind of worked out, and there might be some products that you have that are about the same size that you can trace over. It's a little bit bigger, but that's okay. It'll fit on my plate, and we're gonna trace first, and I'll show you. We're actually gonna label everything, that way we know what each moon phase looks like, and then we will get to the good part where we can either scrape off that white cream in the middle or we can eat it. It's up to you, but you're gonna need about 4 of these because we're gonna use half of each one. So let's get started. If you do not have a piece of white paper like this, or white paper plate, you can use a piece of white paper. You can use line paper. If you absolutely don't want to label them and you just want to actually make them on the table, just make sure that it's clean, because you're probably going to eat the cookies afterwards. But I just happen to have a white paper plate. Also, coincidentally, I'm wearing a moon sun shirt, so yay. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to trace my circles. So I'm going to need 8 circles. So I'm going to start to kind of have them, have a pen as well, to kind of have them aligned. I'm going to do one here on the top. Remember, this is a little bigger than my cookie, so it's okay. I'm going to name them. So at the top, the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to do my new moon. Just gonna right here. Cool. Then right here, I'm gonna do what is called the Waxing Crescent, and that is when the moon literally looks like a banana. And then we have our waxing gibbous. Have our first quarter. So we're gonna put first quarter. I messed up on the order there. Then we have our waxing gibbous. and then we have our full moon. And then that process is going to kind of continue this way, but kind of like in the opposite. Now this one was waxing, so this one was starting, and now it's waning, so now it's leaving until we're back to not seeing the moon at all. So this side is kind of preparing and is getting fuller and fuller and fuller, and then this side, when after it hits the full moon, then it's basically you're seeing less and less and less until we go back to the process of new moon where you see no moon at all. So I'm going to keep labeling these and I'll show you what they look like after I've labeled all of them. Alrighty, so the next part is the cookie part, the most fun part. We've labeled it. I didn't necessarily draw the moons out, but in this case, if you are not the one that's going to make it with crackers or cookies or anything, this is where you can draw it out, and I'll show you what that would look like. But now it's the fun time to put our Oreos where they belong. So I'll kind of show you the steps, but first we're gonna take some of that filling off of some of the crackers. So I'll show you how to do that. So this would be a part where if you have brothers and sisters, they can help you. I do not recommend you eating all of these cookies, but if you do, you know, I'm not discouraging nor encouraging. All right, so this is the careful part. You're gonna have to open them like this. And this is, so our new moon, like I mentioned before, when it's our new moon, you actually do not see the moon at all in the sky. So we're gonna put this side of the Oreo, since it has no filling, down. So this is where you basically would just see a night sky, but not actually see the moon, okay? So then for the next one, it's the one that we call the banana shape, and it's the waxing crescent. Now for the waxing crescent, it looks like a banana shape, but it's going to be faced, the dark part, or the sky, black sky here, dark sky, is going to be on this side. So I'm going to take off some of that filling and try to scrape it off as much as I can. Okay. And that's going to be our crescent moon. So it's going to look like a little banana type of situation. Okay, we have that there. Oops, right here. So that's number 2. And for the waning crescent, if you want to skip to that one, it's going to look pretty similar. The waning crescent is just going to be flipped. So now it's going to be like this. We're going to keep that over here. The first quarter is about half scraped. So basically you can only see half of the moon. So I'm going to scrape about half of this, and I'm going to save this because you can always use this for another cracker. And again, the night sky is on this side. Okay, so we have the new moon, the waxing crescent, the first quarter. Now we need the waxing gibbous. So the waxing gibbous is basically almost all of the moon showing. You're almost at the full moon, but not completely. So some of the cream that I have here from the other cookies, I'm kind of spreading it, but I'm not going to spread it to the whole circle. I'm going to leave a little area with no white. So again, the white is representing the light of the moon, or the light reflected from the sun on the moon. And this one is lighting up almost full, but not completely. It still has a little ways to go. I'm kind of shaping it with my butter knife here. Alright, this is kind of as good as it's gonna get. Alright, so, and then again, I'm gonna kind of, the side that has a little bit left over is still gonna be the night sky on the side. Okay, so the full moon. The full moon has a completely full cookie, and I got perfect, pretty close to perfect side. So I'm gonna put this here. So now the whole cookie the whole moon is shown on this one. And then the waning gibbous, we're basically going to repeat what the waxing gibbous is, but the opposite side. So we're going to put some of this on here again and almost spread it onto the whole thing, but not completely. It's not a full moon. It just ended the phase of the full moon and is going into waning, so it's kind of going into height. Shaping it into a circle. If you have a toothpick, this would also be a really good thing to use on this. Okay. Okay, and then our night sky would be inside of here too. Alrighty, for the last two. Okay, so for the last two, we split it in half. We have another one that's full, and then for this one, so we need to build a last quarter moon and a waning crescent. So I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna take half of this off. Because remember, our first quarter and our last quarter look like half the moon is visible. So we have this, and now we're gonna let it face each other. And then we're gonna build our own crescent moon. So I'm gonna try to do this. Maybe I can even, not, it's okay. This might even be a place where you get your fingers messy, and that is perfectly fine. Kind of okay in there. That's cool. Alright, so we did our phases of the moon. Let me show you how those look. I want to thank you so much for watching. I hope that you try our phases of the moon. Now I'm going to enjoy one of the cookies, and that's the fun part about this, right? After you make your project, you get to eat it. Super fun. If you have any new ideas for any other YouTube video that you want to see me do, comment down below. Make sure that you let me know what you want to see, and we thank you so much for watching. Our next video is going to be uploaded at the end of the week, so we're going to have one at the beginning and one at the end, and we'll let you know when we're uploading them on our Instagram, Facebook, and thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time.